Hey, what's going on? Keith from Trigger Happy. Going to take a look at a Taurus Judge tracker here tonight. This is a public defender version, and there's 4 different guns in the series that have the public defender name. This one is model number 2441039TC. This is the stainless version, obviously. There's a blued version, there's a polymer version, and then there's a polymer version with a stainless cylinder. Not a fan of that one at all. It's just kind of ugly to me. Taurus, markets this as the concealed carry version of the Judge. You kind of be the judge, so to speak, of that. We'll get to that in a minute. But as far as the gun itself, most of us are familiar with the Judge setup, but I'll quickly review. It is a 45 long Colt, 410 shot shell, 5-round capacity revolver. So the same 410 shot that you're running through your long guns, you can run right through here. There are a lot of handgun 410 loads out there that are specifically designed for this, or the Governor, or some of the other guns in this style. They're really good loads. I find that 7 to 10 yards, they're pretty accurate. Beyond that, maybe not so much. But if you're looking for a devastating gun at close range, this is it. This has some serious knockdown power with that 410 load. But any further than 10 yards, and you're really pushing what this particular Judge is capable of with that short barrel. Speaking of the barrel, 2.5-inch barrel, so it is quite a bit shorter than a lot of the other Judges you see out there. The grip is also shorter. You'll see here I've got a pinky hanging off the end. You could probably find an extended grip for it, but this one is definitely shorter than most that are out there. Nice rubber grip. It's pretty soft rubber. It's got these nice raised ridges to it. I do like that. No exposed steel here on the back. I know that's a complaint on a lot of revolvers, especially for newer shooters. It hurts their hand. There's exposed steel. Not so on this grip. It's wraps fully around it. The trigger in double action is surprisingly light. Very nice trigger. Rotates that big cylinder around really well. I'm surprised at how good it is. The single action is also very good. Really like that. Has a fiber optic sight, and it's certainly serviceable. It's better than what you'd expect on a lot of guns. You get a pretty good sight picture there. For making precision shots, you can do it. The blade, to me, seems like it, over time, could be a weak spot on this front sight. It feels pretty sturdy. It is metal, but I do feel like that's something that could be easily broken. That's just me. I have noticed on this particular one, there's a little wobble here to the cylinder. I haven't noticed that on other Judges we've seen through here, but this one's a little loose on the cylinder, so might be something to keep an eye on. Now, as far as a concealed carry gun, can it be carried? Absolutely. These weigh in at around 28 ounces. It feels heavier in the hand to me than 28 ounces, simply because it's a more compact feel. Say like a Springfield or a Smith & Wesson M&P or something like that. It's about the same weight there, but those are, I don't know, it just feels like it's distributed a little different. And it is, obviously, but it just feels heavier than a 28-ounce gun. But, you're going to have some weight, obviously, in your shot shells. So it's a relatively heavy carry compared to, I carry a Smith & Wesson 642 a lot. You're talking like 13 or 14 ounces. So this is double the weight of those revolvers. So it is pretty heavy. But if you're used to carrying, say, like a Glock 19 or something of that stripe, it's not too far off. The downside, again, is limited firepower, but that that can be overcome in the fact that what firepower you do have is, again, pretty serious stuff. I like the way that the cylinder opens, similar to a Smith & Wesson style. It's just easy to use, easy to point, easy to shoot. There is some recoil here, as you'd expect from a shotgun load, but it's manageable. Just prepare, if you're going to buy this for your wife or girlfriend or whoever, and just give it to them without a lot of, instruction like I know some people do, you know, you might be in for a little verbal reaming afterwards, because there's a little more to it than you might think. But as a concealed carry gun, the biggest problem I have is the weight and the width. It's a pretty wide gun here. You can see the profile. Obviously with that big chamber, you know, or big cylinder, excuse me, it's pretty wide. So it's going to be harder to conceal than a lot of other stuff out there. But if you want to do it, it can be done, and it's not a horrible option. I've seen people carry much worse than a public defender. So this gun is in roughly the $500 ballpark. The polymer one is a fair amount less. The blued one is about $30 to $40 less than the stainless. I like stainless, especially if I'm going to carry it. I want that more resilient finish to it. So again, if you're looking for a Judge to carry, this is the one you want. So check it out, Taurus Judge Public Defender. And we'll see you next time. Thanks again. This is Keith from Trigger Happy.